Hey guys, King of Charmander here. Today I'll be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today I bring to you the top 5 teams for Go Battle Day. You're probably like, King of Charmanders, what the heck? You're hella late. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter because these teams are essentially just going to roll over to the next Great League anyways, just because Open Great League has minor changes unless you buff one Pokemon. And then, you know, basically Trevenant and Walrein has basically flipped the meta on its head. And there's really... yeah, you never know when something's gonna get buffed, and then Niantic's just gonna jack up everything, like, you know, like they always do, on a daily basis. It's like a company that has, like, really bad grades, and they can get along with really bad grades just because they make a whole bunch of money. Sound familiar? Anyways, yes, this is going to be the top 5 teams on PvPoke.com. They were updated, so then these are the top 5 performers. A lot of them are unique teams, but they kind of make sense along with the return of some big meta teams, and you'll see them in this analysis when we look at the top 5. Anyways, mental health tip for the day is that yes, it's Go Battle Day. Just do as many battles as you like feel like doing. If you're alright, like, you can comfortably make Legend still. There's 2 more Go Battle Days if that's your goal. I implore you, if you are going to go after, like, if you're like, okay, don't go after Veteran or Expert. Go after Legend. If you're going to put all this time and effort into battling, you might as well go for broke and go for the highest rank. A lot of you have the ability to do so. Either 1, there's like a mental lapse, or 2, you really haven't worked on that piece where Go Battle League doesn't affect you mentally or just gives you so much anxiety and stress that you just can't operate or just can't keep going because lag pisses you off or anything like that. It takes time. I am a therapist. I have CBT'd myself to not really care about lag or my elo because it really doesn't matter in the end. It's going to be okay. At the end of the day, you will live and you will go on to the next day. So do as many battles as you comfortably feel like. Or if you're like me, where I just coached a wrestling tournament and dang, my varsity girl freaking went 3-1. She took 3rd place. She went ham, and I'm like super proud of her because it's such a massive improvement. To go from no medals to 3rd place is a massive improvement, and I'm super proud of her. Besides, the match she lost wasn't even that bad. The other girl just, yeah, reversed her, got on top of her, pinned her, and it was like, dang. But then she learned. And then she won 3 straight, all pins. I'm so proud of her. But speaking of fighting, and yes, I am a wrestling coach, so I mean, yeah. Wrestling is a million times more stressful than freaking Go Battle League. Go Battle League. The reason why Go Battle League is so annoying is literally just because 1, the company, and 2, the rules that's set in place for itself. So, whether you make Legend or not, it's only a personal thing. It doesn't really affect you in the long run. This time around, I don't even know if they'll have Worlds in general just because of the new Omicron running around. Next is going to be Coronavirus Primus the 2nd is going to come out, and that's going to be the next variation or whatever. But as you see here, these are my top 5. Again, just do as many battles as you can. If you're like me, just like skip it all together. Like, yeah, probably gonna skip it. Go watch some Demon Slayer. So, that's my mental health tip for the day. Do as many as you can, but also start practicing to where Go Battle League doesn't affect you mentally. If it makes you angry, think of it this way. And this is kind of like mini CBT. If your automatic behavior is, oh, I get mad or I get pissed. Why isn't the automatic behavior? Okay, just go on to the next one. So work on that piece. CBT yourselves, cognitive behavioral therapy, and then make it to where you're like me and you're just like, okay, cool, GG's, on to the next one. Oh, I got hard countered. Bye, Felicia. Anyways, this is the top 5 teams. Again, that's my tip for the day, and these are going to be the top 5 teams for Great League analyzed, and yeah, let's get started. Alright, the easy way to access this menu is, of course, if you go to this menu right here, go over here, put your mouse over the train tab, go to top performers, and jabam. As you see, Great League's already here, January 22nd, which was yesterday. These were all updated, and we have the top 5 teams. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you see, a lot of these are unique teams that still have rated pretty high, but as you see, Walrein has essentially taken over the meta. Well, a lot of the more common teams have Walrein on it. Galvantula is a beast safe switch, does really well by taking Lunge and Discharge is a great freaking combination, especially with all the water types, Jellicent, and your worst nightmare is definitely going to be Nidoqueen, but at the same time, it does well against a variety of meta combinations, and debuffing with lunge is always nice. So if we go into the fifth one, the fifth team, 1, 2, 3, 4, beside, and then number 1's being used like a lot, but that's okay. So for number 5, we got Lickitung XL, Jellicent, and Medicham XL. So a super thick team. Lickitung serves for its purpose as being able to power whip everything to oblivion. Medicham or Jellicent, either one can be your safe switch here. As you see, you're using Ice Beam with Jellicent so that you can cover grass typings. Obscene amounts of bulk. This team is super bulky. High grades across the board. When you have high bulk, you can also have lots of spam, which is Medicham. Jellicent isn't super spammy, but because of the fact that all these charge moves are relatively low in cost, you're also using the Ice Punch variant, so you cover a wide variety of types. Does really well against a whole bunch of combinations. Catching Trev and Azu in the lead is what Lickitung is for. Also does really well against Walrein. So you can power whip and threaten a victory. Because Lickitung is so godforsakingly thick, you're going to have to Icicle Spear for the victory. Or Icicle Spear. Now there is some cons. As you see here, Wiggly 2 shield strat's very strong and can work very well against you. Things like Skarmory, of course, because Skarmory essentially resists Lickitung. It resists Lickitung. Jellicent's Ice Beam doesn't do much damage to it because it's so tanky. And it's super effective against Medicham. So, in the 2 shield, Skarmory can give you a hard time, or just flyers in general. Because, well, especially Skarmory, because, again, you resist Body Slam as well as Power Whip. Talonflame also can do some damage. Pidgeot can lower your stats. And for some odd reason, Honchkro's in here. But Honchkro doesn't really matter. In the 2 shield scenario, when it comes to Walrein versus Lickitung, this isn't even that bad. As you see, if you go Walrein versus Lickitung, you lose the 2 shield. So, yes, you can't just straight Icicle Spear your way to victory, and you can straight Body Slam to death. So, as you see here, Body Slam, Body Slam, Body Slam. Well, actually, they had to Power Whip you to death, but even if you do go straight Body Slam, or if a Power Whip goes through, you die. So, this is more dangerous for you because a Power Whip has to go through, and as you see here, you have to get an Earthquake on Walrein anyway, so it's basically who lands the big power move. Who guesses the right move? If you Earthquake through shields, you're Gucci. If they Power Whip you to death, well, you're not Gucci because you're going to die. But yes, this team does insanely well. Very high rating across the board at standing at 547, so 0.4%. Anything with an orange is in the work of a single individual. I would say the cons of this team is that Deoxys defense or just fighters in the lead are more prevalent in general. But at the same time, with fighters in the lead, guess what also is coming out? Sableye, Ghost type. So, double-edged sword, GBL is blind, you get what you got, but still a very high-rated team in Open Great League for Season 10. Alright, so for team number 4, we got Nidoqueen, Sableye, Safe Switch, XL. You need an XL. Well, you don't need an XL, but you make sure yours has return. And then we got Walrein. So this team rates at 560. Really strong. Nidoqueen in the lead, I approve of, because Nidoqueen is able to resist those fighters. Also, turns Azumarill into, like, a pool of, like, well, acid is supposed to, like, melt your opponent, you know what I mean? It's rabbit season. Like Bugs Bunny. Most of y'all probably don't know who Bugs Bunny is, which probably makes me really sad. Actually, most of my Ursuline kids probably don't know who the hell Bugs Bunny is. Although if they watched their first Space Jam. I think some of them do. Hopefully. Yeah. Anyways, this team does have... It's basically damage, not a lot of bulk. Your bulkiest mon is probably, depending on if it's Sableye. Sableye XL is probably going to be your bulkiest mon, unless it's Walrein. Either one. Great grades across the board. Nidoqueen does really well against a lot of lead combinations. Obviously, if you lose the lead, your safe switch is going to be Sableye, and then you try to realign with Walrein or close out with Nidoqueen. Worked its way into the top 4, even though it has a high threat score, as you see here. One of the worst things about Nidoqueen, as I use Nidoqueen on my team, is that Nidoqueen gets walled by Skarmory. So, Ryzen Skarmory, also Skarmory does well against the fighters. Skarmory also does decently well against Walrein. In the 2 shield, Skarmory, like, looks at Walrein and it's like, you know what? It's not a bad matchup. So, if you look over here, Walrein wins in 63 seconds. But what you can do in this scenario is, because Walrein doesn't have energy, you can sack Nidoqueen in the lead, Poison Fang the holy crap out of it, and then farm down Walrein to throw all that energy in the back. Most fighters can take an Icicle Spear. If you might actually even, like, be able to, just because counter's so overpowered, whatever counter you send in, you can farm down and then have it wipe out the back rows. So you can sack Nidoqueen, or what you do here is with this team is you sack Nidoqueen in the lead, and then you can choose to send in Sableye, farm it down, Or you could do a ballsy play and send in Walrein, have it get a bazillion energy, and then throw all that energy at your opponent in the back. So there's a lot of different things you can do with Nidoqueen in the lead and just manipulating that defense debuff. Very strong team. There's a lot of things that can card break you, but Nidoqueen in the 2 shield can run through a lot of things. So unless it's an obvious loss, like of course, if you see like a Walrein, or if you see like a Walrein, you can choose to use the stack the lead strat like I told you about, or you could switch out to Sableye. Totally up to you. Nidoqueen does get wiped by confusion users. They're not as popular nowadays as they used to. Hypno is very, very afraid of seeing Sableyes as well as Trevenant and other ghost types, so it's really up to you. High threat score, but really high rating, and this team is pretty solid. Like, as a Nidoqueen user myself, even though it's just the Shadow version, I definitely approve and can do well, especially if you still like that poison type buff. Alright, so for team number 3, we got something that's really freaking awkward. As you see, my failure to disclose half of this screen shows that you get C's across the board. You will not get straight A's. This is not racist, I swear. But if you are Asian and you're using this team, well, technically I'm Asian too, so that's not even racist. We don't accept C's. At least our parents don't. So, with that being said, I don't know if this, well, another fail about this team is that it's only 568. Bro, I know if you round that off, it's 569, but you gotta have that solid number on here. It's gotta be, you gotta see 69, not 68.7. It doesn't count like that. Unless it's like, you're trying to round stuff and it's like percentages or whatever, but no, why am I doing math right now? Anyways, as you see, this is Jellicent lead with Bubble Beam and Shadow Ball. Jellicent is a solid lead because of all the Walreins coming out, and also it does well against fighters, except for Obstagoon though, because you know Hex is triple resisted because Obstagoon. Yeah. But this also has Charmander and Ninetales, followed by Talonflame. I have seen so many A9s running around. I'm just like, wow. So this is what this has come into. Oh wait, this is a Charmander. Bro, really? This is the number 1 3 team. Don't use this team. Actually, for Go Battle Day, it might actually do well for you just because this is probably going to go by really quickly. Unless, well, it depends. 5-turn moves are really slow, so pick your poison. As you see, Talonflame is probably going to be your safe switch here, or what's going to happen is you win the lead against the fighter, you throw your Sableye into it, and then Alolan Ninetales farms down the Sableye, and then you go bye-bye, and they take your elo. That's basically what it is. Talonflame's your safe switch, or like I mentioned, this is basically just here to catch the fighter. You get the fighter lead, you safe switch into Sableye. I mean, you take out the fighter with a low Ninetales, and that's GG's. Does really well against a lot of different combinations. Jellicent is a solid lead nowadays with Walrein coming out. Or, Walrein? Yeah. As you see, this team has a variety of weaknesses overall. The issue with this team is an electric Pokemon will break you, which is why Galvantula is pretty dang good. Galvantula loves this team. Yeah, it's going to take mad damage from Charm. You can still discharge Victory. However, it does essentially wipe Jellicent and Talonflame to oblivion. And like I mentioned, electric types, which isn't so prevalent. So the Dene as well as Galvantula, those are probably the 2 big ones you're going to see. If you like Charm and you like Talonflame safe switch, this is for you. Just be really mindful of those electric types, because as you see, the grades don't lie. C's across the board. So if you like this team, it's totally up to you. In my opinion, even though it performs well, I wouldn't really prefer using this team for Go Battle Day, unless you're really trying to run through your sets. But even then, like I mentioned, Talonflame is slow, Jellicent is slow. Sole purpose is to catch the Dark type or the fighter in the back, and then Talonflame takes your elo, or you take their elo if you're using this team. Why? K. Nani. The hell? Why though? Who? Who hurt you? Who hurt you? Why? 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 The pain in my voice. Why the hell is this team a top team again? Starting at number 2, guess what? It's Season 1's Mega Meta team. Registeel, Altara, and Azu. The big 3 returns like freaking LeBron James, trying to make every single super team so he could get a ring. But you know, it's not okay if the Warriors get Kevin Durant, even though all of the rest of their freaking cast is literally homebred and drafted. Clay was done in the... Clay, Steph, Draymond was second drafted, but we can't get 1 superstar, but LeBron can get like 7 superstars, and all of a sudden he's the GOAT. Yeah. Yeah. Freaking hell. Anyways, I'm not a bad Microwave fan. I am from the Bay Area. I've lived here for like the longest time, and I am from California. So yeah, but anyways, speaking of the big three, the triple team, the LeBron is a La Queen, La Flop. There's no way in hell LeBron James is the GOAT. There's no freaking way. Jordan and Kobe, especially Kobe. Y'all don't disrespect Kobe like that. La Flop James, La Queen James, La Cry James. La Westbrook isn't working, so we're gonna trade you. Sorry, bro. We love you, but not really. We never did. We thought you would win us a championship, but it's not gonna happen. Now, as you see here, speaking of winning championships, speaking at 574, which is actually a pretty dang high rating, Mega Meta team from Season 1 comes back to take the cake. Azu is your safe switch here. You Hydro Pump and Play Rough. You want Play Rough to take out those Sableyes. At the same time, you need Hydro Pump for Bastiodon. If you get a Bastiodon or a G-Fisk, you need Hydro Pump, which is basically like here. But this team is super meta. As you see, it does really well. Registeel does well against Walrein for the fact that you can comfortably eat an Earthquake, and Flash Cannon does big damage against Ice-type Pokemon. Focus Blast also has a tremendous amount of coverage because fighting types other than ground has such a wide range of super effective damage across the board. Tons of bulk, tons of consistency. Not very safe because there's a lot of things that counter Azu. Even Sableye can. If you get the return through shields, you can straight foul play to victory. So, not super safe, but still has taken the reins as the number 2 team. Week 2, Wishcash, Nidoqueen, Seaking. Where are you going to see these three? Not very much. Maybe with Nidoqueen, but Registeel, outside of getting hit by those fighters, that's why you have Azu, Altaria. But as a closer, Registeel can generate a ton of energy. Focus Blast and Flash Cannon do big damage against a lot of different combos. So that's why this team is very, very solid. I would say your biggest issue is probably going to be Trev, just because Shadow Ball hits super hard. And of course with C-Bomb, but you could sack there's a lot of things you can do. You can even sack Registeel in the lead, break shields, and then come in with Altaria and Azu. As you see, Altaria just laughs at Trevenant. Especially if it already has that chip damage, or if you have shield advantage from using all them flash cannons. So it's mad good, mad solid, and this team is standing at the number 2 team. You'll lose the lead, just say switch into Azu, or if you win the lead, which is usually a Walrein, then you get the Sableye. You can send in Altaria to get a convincing win, or you can send in Azu. It's really up to you. Solid team, has been solid in Season 1, dropped off a lot, and here we are 9 seasons later with the most annoying team of Season 1 and the preseason 2. And last but not least, the most powerful team, rating at 582. Extremely strong and at literally a 1.2% usage. Meaning any of y'all that were thinking you're hella special by using this team, it's not fact. I think the reason why is because Venusaur, with Azu being more prevalent, that means you have those chances against to take down Azus. Also, Swampert Skarmcores are out there, so you can catch the Skarmory lead. Venusaur can farm down those Swamperts as well. Ironically, we just had Venusaur Community Day. And I talked mad crap about Venusaur, but in a sense, if you look at what you beat, there's a lot of teams, like for example, the Jellicent one, Team 3 gives that team a hard time up top. The Surfetch G-Fist team gives the other team a hard time. And all this really does is this is what you call it. I forgot the team with Pelipper. You just replace it with Deoxys defense and Thunderbolt. A Thunderbolt Deoxys defense. That's all you're literally doing. But if you get a fighter, for example, like a Surfetch Sableye team or a fighter, then yeah, GG's. But as you see, that team does stand at 582 with a ridiculously high rating. It's the number 1 team, most powerful overall of rating wise, and overall stat. All you're doing is replacing Pelipper with Deoxys defense with Thunderbolt. Good grades across the board. Does ridiculously well. G-Fist can flip a lot of matchups if you Earthquake through shields. For example, against Umbreon, you can beat Umbreon with G-Fist into 2 shield if you Earthquake, or not into 2 shield, well, if you Earthquake twice in the 2 shield, and you get 2 Earthquakes too, you could beat Umbreon in the lead. Galarian Stunfisk is overpowered since Season 2 in this session. It's never gone off meta. Like, off the meta list. G-Fisk is OP. Venusaur has always been good per se. Dropped a lot because of Walrein. A lot of Walrein back rows will love the fact that you have this team, especially if they have energy advantage. And Deoxys defense going to Deoxys defense. But at the same time, even though Deoxys defense only had like a one-time comeback, so you newer players that are trying to play this team, you're out of luck because Deoxys defense isn't here. And you can't trade Deoxys defense because it's mythical. GG's. Yeah. Can't wait for Niantic to make millions of dollars off of Deoxys defense's shiny when it finally comes out. Because I know half of y'all are going to be spending bread for that. overall, still a really solid team. Your biggest weaknesses is Trevenant. Trevenant rips this entire team a new hole, which is why I'm kind of like scratching my head, because Trev can run through G-Fist, Deoxys defense, and Venusaur convincingly. So that's why. If you lose the lead, you say switch into DD, but you better hope they don't have a Trev in the back. That's why I was like, this team really is number one? It might be just because you caught so many Walrein leads, but with a high threat score as well. So it's very, very scratchy. But again, this team is just so powerful because it features 3 community moves are overpowered. Go-Line Stunfisk is beastly. And Deoxys defense gonna D. Even though it doesn't really play that much defense, it like Psycho Boost is mad good. And with Thunderbolt, you could take switch against those Azus. With Thunderbolt as well against those Flyers. And, of course, it also does really well against Walrein. Because, you know, fighting is really great against Ice. Really solid team, though. You've probably played all 3 of these Pokemon at one point. So, this team is pretty solid and can get you a lot of Ws in the new Season 10 meta. And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As you see, this is the top 5 teams. The number 1 team is just a variation of a former common team with Pelipper. Yay. But it also just shows how bland Great League is. No one saw Sphere Community Day coming. No one did. And so left field. It's kind of really dumb because Trev already flipped the meta upside down. And what? It's January. So you had that in Halloween. Then 3 months later, a new Metamon comes out. Fear of missing out. So bad for your mental health. But you know what? We have so many content creators that promote this game on a daily basis and aren't honest about the mental state, not just the state of the game as far as just like the health of the game, but also the health of the people that play it. You know what's funny? I ran the statistics and we're 208 on Twitch right now, but we act like we're a top 5 game. Yeah, so if you look at the metrics, like Pokemon Go hasn't come a long way, just saying. So that's why I told you not to stress about yourself. Do you really think what looks better? The top 500 in Pokemon Go or the top 500 in Valorant, Call of Duty, Halo, Fortnite? You tell me. And those are all like top 1 through 10 games. So Pokemon Go can't. We're getting beat by Genshin Impact, which is like a waifu gacha game. Come on, guys. Until your voice is the biggest thing you got. If we're not honest about the game, and we don't even have to do anything. Most of the players in our own game don't even care about our game. Most people don't play Pokemon Go because of PvP. They play because of the shiny hunting aspect and for raids. That's fact. Yeah, the Pokemon PvP player base is ridiculously small compared to the overall. So if there's an esport format that catered to the majority rather than the minority, because PvP we're minority, guys. We ain't that big. Really, we're not. This would be much better. And also, Great League is really bland. But despite being bland, I really appreciate you guys are here. If you like, do me a huge favor. Please like and subscribe. It's totally free. All you have to do, you see that little box on the right that says subscribe? You can easily subscribe from over there. I really appreciate my current subscribers. You guys are champions because you guys suffer through all of this. If you play this on a daily basis, I suffer through it too. I just don't care anymore, per se. Winning's nice, but I don't really have much to learn if it comes to Pokemon Go PvP. It's just literally playing new stuff and just binging and watching an unbalanced meta change. And that's what it is. But despite that, I hope you're having a wonderful Go Battle Day. Good luck in your Go Battle sets, and I will see you guys on the next video.